Hey you guys, it's Peter and welcome to my channel, Peter Likes Books. And today I am actually reviewing a book that I have finally finished. It has only taken me like 3 or 4 months to finish this book. I cannot believe that I am done with it. Last night I sat outside for I think like 2.5, 3 hours, and I just sat there and drank my herbal tea and I listened to the last 2 to 3 hours of this book. I was like, I'm going to power through this. I'm going to finish this book. I am ready to get back to Cozy Mysteries. I am ready to get back to the final 3 books of the Misfortune series that I have to catch up on. I am ready to get back to Campers and Criminals by Tanya Kappas. I am ready to get back to all of these books that I have continued to download on Audible and I haven't had a chance to read because I have been stuck in the middle of this horrible book. Now, first of all, I need to issue an apology, which I know a lot of people liked this book, a lot of people said that they listened to it very fast, and maybe you have to listen to it fast to like this book, but I really don't think that would have made a difference for me whatsoever. But I need to issue an apology for those of you that read this book and felt like you wasted your time or did not enjoy this book, because this was actually a pick for Peter's book club. I think it was like the February, I don't even know at this point. I think this was like the February pick for Peter's book club, which I will be coming back in July. Well, in about a week, I will be announcing the July book for Peter's book club, as well as the July book for a true crime book club. We are doing a total reset, total restart in the month of July. And going forward as of then, Mel and I are very excited. The book that we have picked out for July is a book that we have picked out for May and for June. And so we're finally going to read it in July. And I'm really excited about this topic and talking about this topic and learning more about this topic. And I'm also looking for books right now to read for Peter's book club. So if you guys have some suggestions of books that you would like to read that maybe I could pick as a book for Peter's book club, please put it in the comment section below. So anyway, I need to apologize to those of you out there that felt like you wasted your time, your money, your library card, whatever that you spent reading this book, if you found it as horrible as I did. And that is How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. I was not impressed with this book at all. And I have to tell you that the reason why I picked this book was because I am like a super fan of Grady Hendrix. I am an avid reader of all of his books. Like I love his writing, right? I love it so much. And in the past, I have him pulled up on Goodreads right now. And in the past, I've read The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. I loved it. The Final Girls Support Group, loved it. My Best Friend's Exorcism, loved it. Horror Store, loved it. And How to Sell a Haunted House. The ones that I have not read that I have currently are We Sold Our Souls. I still have that on Audible and I haven't read that. And he has some older books that I haven't read either, or he has parts of like anthologies that he's been part of. Now I have to tell you, all of his other books that I've read were so completely different, but his style of like really delving into the characters and really getting to know the characters, as well as like his nuances to pop culture, especially with like My Best Friend's Exorcism, and also Final Girls Support Group, which like referenced all of these like old movies from back in the day, and I love horror movies, and so it like referenced all of those. The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires was just such a different book. It was so fantastic. And it also, incorporated important issues in it. And you really got to know the characters and everything like that. And so I have just like fallen in love with his writing. There's like not really a book of his. Even Horror Store, which is one of his earlier books, which is about these people that get trapped in kind of like an IKEA kind of store overnight, and there's all these like demons and stuff. Even that I loved, right? So I thought, and all these people were saying that they didn't like How to Sell a Haunted House. And my friend Nikki from the book club, she was like, I really want you to finish. She's been pushing me to finish this book because she wants to know what I think about it. Well, Nikki, I thought it was crap. And she knows that because I was texting her last night as I was finishing it. So let me read you the synopsis for this book. Hold on, let me get to it. How to Sell a Haunted House. And just pulling it up. And it is 419 pages. It came out January 17th of 2023. And this is the synopsis. Grady Hendrix takes us on the haunted house Grady Hendrix takes us on the haunted house in a thrilling new novel that explores the way your past and your family can haunt you like nothing else. When Louise finds out her parents have died, she dreads going home. She doesn't want to leave her daughter with her ex and fly to Charleston. She doesn't want to deal with her family home, stuffed to the rafters with the remnants of her father's academic career and her mother's lifelong obsession with puppets and dolls. She doesn't want to learn how to live without the two people who knew and loved her best in the world, her mother and her father. Most of all, she doesn't want to deal with her brother, Mark, who never left their hometown, gets fired from one job after another, and resents her success. Unfortunately, she'll need his help to get the house ready for sale because it'll take more than some new paint on the walls and clearing out a lifetime of memories to get this place on the market. But some houses don't want to be sold, and their home has other plans for both of them. Okay, so this is the spoiler part, so if you want to read this book and you don't want to hear about any spoilers, stop watching this video right now. Okay, so let me tell you what this video is about. This video is about this woman that lives in San Francisco, and she has a daughter with her ex, whose name is Poppy, and her parents die, and it's very speculative how they die. Like her dad, apparently something happens to him at the house, and he gets sick, or something happens, and then they're going to the hospital, and they get like in a car accident. So they both die like on the same night. So she has to go home and like get together with her brother, who she has like no relationship with whatsoever, and she has to work with him on selling this house, okay? And her brother's like very resentful of her and very angry, and you find out later that it's because when she was a little kid that she tried to kill him, which she really doesn't have a lot of memory of all of this, and it all stems from this one puppet. So their entire parents' house is like filled to the rafters, like it said, with puppets and dolls and all this kind of stuff, right? Okay, now, you know, I have seen in movies and in books before puppets or dolls being very, very scary. In fact, if you remember the scene from Poltergeist, when the puppet comes out from underneath the bed and strangles the kid and all that kind of stuff, like that's a very scary scene in that movie. There was nothing that was scary to me about this in this book whatsoever. There was nothing to me about any of the dolls. I mean, there were squirrels that were stuffed that came after her. It was corny at best. There were these dolls that were like, okay. So anyway, the main thing circles around this puppet called Pumpkin. That was like her mother's favorite. And then her brother goes in, and he has this history with Pumpkin, and Pumpkin was the one that told Louise, the main character, to kill her, to let her brother drown in this lake when they were like 5 and 9 or 5 and 7 or something like that. It is so slow, you guys. I mean, I was listening to it at the end at 2.9 speed. True story, okay? I was like, I'm not going to DNF this book, but I've got to finish this book. And, I mean, it was so bad. It was so bad. And what you find out at the end of it is that Pumpkin has basically inherited the spirit of their Uncle Freddie, who passed away when he was 5 because his mother let him drown at a pool at Howard Johnson's in some other city. And so then they have to like dig up Freddie in their backyard because Freddie's buried on the property, which is why the house is haunted. And then Freddie and Pumpkin basically like walk off into the sunset to find their ever after. And people were saying to me that the ending is beautiful. The ending is not beautiful. The ending's corny. The whole book is corny. There's nothing about the book that I found enjoyable whatsoever. The only thing is kind of like you see. And what's so interesting to me is that Grady Hendrix is somebody that does such great character development. And I was so surprised because the only piece of character development is that you see like a closeness and a bond kind of develop between Mark and Louise, the siblings, over a period of time, over their shared trauma. Like you kind of see that occur over a period of time, but not fast enough. I mean, I'm talking maybe 4/5 through the book that starts to happen. And it's like a little bit too little, too late. It's so corny, you guys. It is so bad. And the thing is that I follow Grady Hendrix on Twitter, and this will not stop me or deter me from reading his further books because I think he is a fantastic author. And you know, I think the sad thing is, it's like, I think this was said on Project Runway by somebody or whatever, but you know, you're always judged by your last dress. It's like you're always judged by like your last release or your last book or whatever. But like Grady Hendrix is a much better writer than this. I mean, I'll tell you, I gave it 2 stars. And I gave it 2 stars because the storytelling is done, although very, very slow, okay? He's a fantastic writer. If it weren't for that, this would have got 0 stars. I mean, it was so boring. But the thing is that Grady Hendrix is kind of like, I've noticed this on Twitter, he posts a lot of these like covers of like horror novels from like the 60s and the 70s and the 80s that kind of centered around these kind of ideas back then, of these like supernatural, paranormal ideas that occurred like with dolls and puppets. And he's like been posting a lot of that kind of stuff. And so does it surprise me that this is the result of that? No. But it's a piss poor idea. It wasn't well executed. It wasn't well done. I was very disappointed in reading that. And I was definitely disappointed that it took me 4 months to read it. So last night, when I finished it, I started Jana DeLeon's book number 23 in the Misfortune series, Swamp Spirits, and I'm back on track, and I'm out of my reading slump because I finally finished this horrible, 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 horrible book. So anyway, if you read it, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.